The Forgotten Puppeteer. In a quiet English village nestled deep within the rolling hills, there lived a puppeteer named Mr. Oswald Thornbush. He was a peculiar man with a shock of wild white hair and an odd twitching eye. Mr. Thornbush was known far and wide for his astonishing puppet shows that he performed every weekend in the village square. The puppets he used were unlike any others. They were life-sized and incredibly lifelike, with painted faces that seemed to mimic the deepest emotions. The children adored Mr. Thornbush and his puppet shows, but there was something unsettling about those puppeteers, something that sent shivers down the spines of even the bravest souls in the village. As the years passed, Mr. Thornbush's shows became more and more elaborate. The villagers whispered that his puppets were haunted, and that Mr. Thornbush himself was involved in dark, arcane practices. They couldn't explain how his puppets seemed to move with such grace and life. It was as if they had souls of their own. One fateful evening, during a performance under a full moon, something strange happened. The puppets were eerily silent, their painted faces devoid of their usual vivid emotions. Mr. Thornbush, too, was eerily calm, his twitching eye completely still. The children watched, captivated and terrified, as the puppets moved in slow, deliberate motions, as if controlled by an unseen force. Then, without warning, the strings that held the puppets aloft snapped, and the life-sized dolls crashed to the ground. Gasps and screams filled the square, and parents rushed to protect their children. The villagers, their fear finally realized, declared that Mr. Thornbush and his malevolent puppets must be banished from the village. The puppeteer left, vanishing into the night with his eerie creations. The village square was soon empty, the memories of the haunted puppets fading like a bad dream. The children grew up, the years passed, and the story of Mr. Thornbush and his puppets became little more than a local legend. Decades later, on a quiet evening, a knock echoed through the village. A young woman, lost and disheveled, had stumbled upon the village square. She spoke of strange happenings in her travels, of eerie puppets that seemed to have a life of their own. The villagers listened with dread, their memories of Mr. Thornbush and his puppets returning in a rush. The woman, with a haunted look in her eye, described how the puppets had beckoned her to follow them into the forest. Trembling, she had ventured into the darkness, where the puppets had led her to a forgotten, overgrown cemetery. In the moonlight, she saw a crumbling gravestone, barely legible, but with one word still visible: Thornbush. The village was shaken by this revelation, and they knew that the puppets had not been destroyed. They had waited, and now they sought a new puppeteer to bring them to life once more. The memory of Mr. Thornbush and his malevolent creations lived on, a chilling reminder of the horrors that could be lurking just beneath the surface of a seemingly tranquil village. The end.